set up more or less. It's going to be set up more or less like an interview style. And Mr. Thomas, somebody who I have a ton of respect for, Miss Anderson, is going to be asking me a few questions. And as you guys know, I'm gonna say this up front before he start, asking me a lot of questions or whatever the questions are. I'm a pretty private person. I'm a very private person. I love having fun, love helping people, but to talk about and get into like personal life and stuff like that, I don't really get into. You know, I don't really because it's not about me. And I make it clear that it's not about me. It's about how many people I can serve, how many people I can help, and what have I done to help other people in their lives. That's what it's about for me. And that's why you never really, and there'll probably be some questions that's going to be asked of me today, and I'm going to answer them, but you probably would have never gotten these answers if these questions probably weren't asked because it's not 26 years after being in this industry, it's never been about me. And those who know me, yeah, I can talk about some of my accomplishments and everything. Yes, because I'll let you know about those, how hard I work, how consistent I am in doing it. But how I got here is probably going to be some of these questions. Okay, so let's just jump right on into it. I'm gonna go ahead on and turn it over to my little brother, one of my mentees, somebody that I've been knowing for over 20 plus years. And who else better, to be able to ask those questions other than Mr. Eugene Thomas. Mr. Thomas, are you on the line, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Mickle, can you hear and see me clearly, sir?
Yes, I can.
I definitely got to give it back up to you, Miss Anderson. It has been such an honor and a pleasure to have known you, work with you, eat with you, live life with you, and make money with you for well over a decade. And you have always been the consummate professional and leader. I mean, you have years in the industry, your heart for people is tremendous. Your joy is infectious, no matter what you're experiencing or going through. And so I appreciate you, ma'am, for hosting this call, being part of the community, and doing all that you do in the community. And so, Mr. Mickle, I definitely appreciate you, sir, being on the call. This is a little different for me as well. I'm showing my camera, I'm showing my gray. I was traveling the last couple of days. And so, but I definitely wanted to be here right now with you, sir. I appreciate your leadership. I appreciate and grateful for your consistency, your tenacity, all that you do as being the person that you are, because it's not about business, it's not about money, it's about the people. We know the quote, I love you and there's nothing you can do about it. And I'm gonna ask you about that too. But this is a little different. This is an interview, a conversation. I know we only have a certain amount of time, so there's only so many questions that I'll be able to ask you, sir. Maybe we can do a part two, or maybe we can save that for a late night, right? Late night call, and we can go deeper into, the heart and the mind of Mr. Money Making Mickle. And so your accolades, sir, precedes you. You are open book, and a lot of people, they respect you, they love you, they follow you. And so I just wanted to kind of explore that, because you're open book. There's a lot of things that, people already know and people you've already shared with people, but I do want to go a little deeper into your story, into how you got here. And so a little curveball really quickly, just to warm us up, get us into it. Who is your most influential mentor that you have? What is your favorite period of time, and what was your favorite trend?
Well, my favorite
mentor.
Well, you pertaining to network marketing, right?
Whatever it is you want, is you. We jumping into it. Who have been your most influential in your life? Because this is about you, right? In your life, the most influential mentor would have been your favorite period of time. And what is your favorite trend? Just, throw it out there. Simple.
Well, for me, my mentor probably would be Montreal Jackson because when I got into this industry, I mean, I didn't really have a mentor. I mean, I got in life before network marketing, I didn't have a mentor. And Montreal Jackson was my first mentor because of the way he led people. And so I would say Montreal Jackson. And most memorable moment when I saw
favorite period of time
when I saw someone, of color, which I never been around anybody who were making $100,000 a month. Okay. And when I saw that with my own eyes, that changed my whole paradigm of the way I thought, the way I was thinking, and then that it was a brother, to be exact, and young. So when I saw I had a mentor and somebody who's making over $100,000 a month, young, and the way he led people, but when it comes to trends, I always look at trends as they come and go. Certain trends come in, they're like bell box. They come and they go. So to be able to catch a good trend, Mr. Thomas, to answer that question, my favorite trend is when I got into the industry of network marketing and saw people making money the untraditional way.
Okay.
And making money the untraditional way, not having to go to work. That was a trend I never seen before. Okay. So that was, I would say, probably one of my biggest trends.
And ladies and gentlemen, I want you to know he give you your heart, and so you see those questions he began to go deep on. But your favorite, your most influential mentor was Montreal Jackson. Your favorite period of time was like the late '90s, and the trend is the trend of being able to make money away from a job. That was your most favorite trend to get into.
Yes.
Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. So there's so many different places we can go, but I want to start pre-96. Pre-96, what was life? What was life for you? And were you happy? Were you happy according to society standards? Pre-96.
Well, I was happy because all I knew is what I knew. And I was happy because I didn't know I was working a job. I was a VP at Bank of America, man. I felt I had it going on, you know, pre 96, because I had been with Bank of America for 9 years before. I didn't leave there until 97. So I felt I had it going on. And, but I was a network marketing skeptic. I was very skeptical of network marketing. All I had was, prior to 1996, all I had was bad things to say about this industry. Why? Because I never knew anybody that made any money. And everybody that people will try to pitch me with this pre 96, people will try to pitch me with network marketing. And everybody showed me in these books and everything lived in Montana, Wyoming, Idaho, places that I've never been before, places that I don't know, and nobody looked like me. So therefore, I was like, you know, how can I meet these people? How can I ever see these people who supposedly making all this money and doing whatever they're doing? And so pre 96, man, I was happy. I was in a space where it's all I knew is how to make money the traditional way, which was go to work, trade time for dollars. So, and I had a great family, growing family, was married and excited and, but still was hungry, but didn't know what I wanted pre 96. Okay. I was hungry because always had a passion to win, but I didn't know how I was going to win, Mr. Thomas.
Okay. So I get that. I can see that. You only knew what you knew at the time. So, you know, that's with all of us, you know, when something has to happen sometime to get our mind to shift, get our mind to change. What do you feel, or when do you think your perspective changed? And what came first? What happened? What was it? Was it a tragedy that happened? Was it something financial happened? What happened that allowed your perspective to change? Because you coming from being a skeptic, and then you didn't just see some, you know, you didn't see somebody's check immediately when you got started in the industry. Like, what do you feel? When did your perspective change, and what came first? What happened for it to change?
Well, I got invited to a meeting, a PBR, private business reception, and you know, my wife was pregnant with my 26-year-old now. That's why it was 26 years ago in '96 when I got started in this industry. But I got invited, and I actually went to the meeting, you know, for the first time, and it was the approach, and I think it was the timing because this young lady asked me would I be open to take a look at something to make some extra money. But at the time, I said I had the audacity to say no, Mr. Thomas. And when I said no on my way home, even though she gave me a card on my way home, I thought about this. I said, wait a minute, how can I, you know, say no to something that I don't even know about? And you know, I'm living from paycheck to paycheck, and nobody really knew that. And I have a growing family, and this is an opportunity. So that's when I took her up on that opportunity. And, you know, I showed up at this house in East Point, Georgia, and there was about 25 people there. And they put me on the front row. But I went there with a closed mind. But I showed up. It's the point. I showed up. But this young man, about 32 years old at the time, was talking about how much money that he was making. You know, and he used to work for the city of Atlanta for, you know, for the mayor's office and all that stuff. And he said something. He said, you know, how would you like to get paid over time or for something that you did one time and continue to get paid over and over and over again? That's what changed my perspective. And he pulled out his downline of people that he didn't even know. And it looked
So
like a phone
you
book.
saying this guy at this meeting, this guy, he pulled out and showed you his downline, and you know, and he actually did that at the meeting?
Yes, he pulled out, because back then, Mr. Thomas, you gotta realize this was in the mid 90s. Back then, you couldn't go to the computer and look at your downline. The company, if you had a certain, you could go to your fax machine and print off. You know, you can request, and they will they will fax you your downline, right?
Right.
But this guy organization, they had to mail it to him. His organization was about this thick. That's how many people he had his organization. And at that time, the money that he was making at that time, he was making more money in 1 month based on what he said than I was making all year. So to change my perspective and the way I was thinking, it was that moment of getting paid off of something that I done one time and continue to get paid over and over and over again.
But had you explored business prior to that, like prior to going to that meeting? Had you explored starting other businesses? Had you thought about business? Um, you, you get what I'm saying? Like, was that
Absolutely.
your first introduction to any business?
No, what my first introduction to business, but it was my first introduction of doing something one time. Because remember, traditional business is when you go in and you do it this month from real estate, from where I was coming from. Also, you do it this month and you have to do it again next month. So I make $50,000 to $70,000 a month in real estate. It's not going to become repeatedly every single month unless I'm talking about rental property. And back then I was doing more or less real estate investment, flipping houses, flipping, and and showing people how to buy houses with no money down. So if I made $50,000 in January, I had to go back in February and do it all over again. So, but when you start talking about reoccurring, paying a phone bill, you're never going to pay that off. And that's what caught my attention, Mr. Thomas.
Okay,
Residual income.
So let me ask you this. So you went to the meeting, and when you went to the meeting, you was already rich. Because, ladies and gentlemen, if you don't know, and if you just joining us, I'm interviewing Mr. Jacob Mickle, 8-figure earner in business and assets such as real estate, owner of multiple companies, and he's telling us how he got started in the industry, giving his perspective. And so you went to this meeting, this guy showed you this stack of papers, facts of downlines, and he's making a lot of money residually. So did you have like a large bank account when you got started where you were doing real estate? So did you have 100,000 in the bank when you got started? What was that like for you?
Absolutely. Already. See, one thing about this, when I came in network marketing, like a lot of people come in network marketing, and they are hungry because they're already broke and they're trying to make this their, I got to make money fast. And if the money don't come as fast enough, then that's when most people quit. And some people quit their jobs a little too early in this industry. But I came here already, was a high 6-figure earner. So $10,000, when they put that on the board, that didn't impress me, the $10,000 did. But what impressed me that it was residual income. That's what I didn't have, residual income. So I was like, I'd rather have $10,000 coming in every month than going to work for $10,000 every single month.
Okay.
That was the difference.
So how did you have that discussion with your family? Like, I know that you had one daughter, or was your wife pregnant for your older? What was the scenario? How did you discuss that? What did that look like when you got home from somebody who for years had been saying, I would never do that. I'm not talking to nobody. That don't work. And I'm more than sure your partner or your wife at the time, she might have had that same mental aspect, because, I mean, if she didn't have it coming into the situation, she got it coming from you. So what was that conversation like?
Well, the conversation was different because I had to go home and tell her, that I was going to take some money out of the account. And, and, knowing that I was going to make an investment that my wife didn't understand. Heck, I didn't understand. All I know is that I saw an opportunity to make some residual income and change our life forever. That was my thinking at the time. And I explained that to her. But one more thing about my wife, she's always supported me. She always supported me. But I had to go home and still make that speech because she wasn't there. And she never really got into network marketing until later on in my career. But I had to go home and tell her that, hey, I need to take out $500 from my daughter's college fund at the time, and she agreed, but she said I needed to put it back, right? And that's how I got started, Mr. Thomas. I mean, I just went and borrowed and supposedly took $500. It was $499 out of this account. And I went back that Tuesday. I didn't get started right away, but I was excited. And I came back to that Tuesday meeting and I brought cash to the event and they took it. Somebody in my upline took it, my sponsor, this young lady. I thank her, every moment I get, I thank her over and over and over again for introducing me, even though I don't even know whether she's still doing network marketing. I know every now and then she'll pop into a company and I see her, but I thank her every single chance I get for sharing this opportunity of network marketing with me. But
sorry about that.
No, go ahead. I just said, but man, I was already making decent money when I came in. But remember, I was working a job, and that's a different type of money when you're talking about residual income versus your um job money, your your W-2 money. 1099 money is a whole lot different than your W-2 money.
Absolutely. And I have set of questions, man, that I do want to get to, and I will get to it. And if you're on the line, you have a question for Mr. Mickle, at the end of the call, I'll take one question. Maybe Miss Leah Anderson or Miss Tana Gonzalez, maybe you guys can pick the question. But I got a set of questions, but you got my mind working as I'm talking to you. And two things popped up as you were talking. Opportunity. Like, I really want to know, how did you get to the place where you could even think about or recognize opportunity? Because I know we're not really trained to recognize opportunity. We not a true opportunity, not something that could change our life. We always think of those things differently, right? Scams and stuff, right? But how did you get to the place where you even knew you could recognize an opportunity, right? First off, and then once you recognize the opportunity, everybody have a lot of life. Like, we talk about distractions a lot, and we think distractions are, just TV or, cell phone and stuff. But actually, it's life situations that we experience. And most people don't want to say it, but is the having to bring, your son or daughter, to the practices. It's, your family coming home and you got something to do and they say, hey, let's go eat out tonight. And you don't want to be a bad parent, so you go in and eat out with your family. Those are distractions too. So how did you get to be able to recognize opportunity? What distractions did you face, and how did you overcome those distractions? How did you itemize them to where you still took care of the home responsibility, but you said no to some things that maybe other people are afraid to say no to when it comes to family?
Well, when I first got started, Mr. Thomas, it was crazy, because you got to remember, if you're used to doing something one way, and I was working, 80 to 100 hours a week at the bank. Why? Because I always wanted to be the best in whatever I do. And then all of a sudden, you not only still working the job, now you come home in the evening and now you're on the phone. Because back then, guys, we didn't have Zoom. It was all conference calls, three-way phone calls, conference calls. And then you had to deal with attending the meeting. So therefore, that was untraditional for my family. So yeah, there was some turbulence, a lot of turbulence along the way. Because when I first started, yes, my wife saw me on the phone more. My wife, me going to meetings more. And she didn't understand all that. I would invite her to come to the meeting so she can see what's going on, but she wasn't interested. And she still was working and all that good stuff, but I had to prioritize. Now there was games. My oldest daughter, which is Courtney, she was taking dance, tap, all that stuff, doing all the stuff that you put your kids into. I missed a lot of that. But I heard about it later from my wife. Yes, I was like, hey, Tuesday night I got to go to a meeting, or Saturday morning I have to go to a meeting. And those are usually the times that my daughter had to do things. But when I had the moment at that time, I would always be at my daughter's stuff every single time. But that stuff got old to my wife very quickly. And then that started some, like I said, I used the word turbulence inside the household. But we were able to smooth that out, on down the road, a couple of years later. But that's another story for another day. Might be another question. I don't know. But, but I had to prioritize, man. But when you living in quiet desperation, Let me explain that. You know, you look good on the outside, and but yet you're struggling when you get home. You see these bills and you see all this stuff. You know, somebody got to do something. You can't just sit there and watch the paint dry. And I've never been that person. I always had that hustle mentality in me, but I never wanted to do anything illegal. I always wanted to find a way to make some extra money. Always talking about, I don't care if it's a lawn care business, real estate, it didn't matter what it was. I always talked about, I need to do something outside of this job. And that was my biggest thing, Mr. Thomas. So I balanced as much as I possibly could, but I didn't sacrifice my business. My family, I didn't sacrifice my family either, but my wife probably thought I was, but I was doing it for my household. And I knew if I do it and get good at it, then I know I could do exactly like these other people that I saw doing in this industry.
And but how did you even? First part of the question: how did you even get to the place where you could recognize opportunity? Did you
Oh,
even
yes.
recognize that it was an opportunity, or you just was desperate and knew you had to do something?
I wasn't desperate, but I wanted to do something different. I wasn't desperate because I didn't know what I was, desperate for.
Did
So
you recognize it at the time, or
I,
did it?
I
Did,
recognized an
was the
opportunity
awareness there that it was an opportunity?
because I was always open-minded, but somebody had to bring the right opportunity to me at the right time. That's why I say timing is key. So therefore, I was looking for something, but I didn't know what I was looking for. But when I heard the word residual income, and that was a very untraditional way of me getting paid. That's what the first thing that caught my attention. I can get paid over and over and over on something that I did one time. And that's how I recognized that it was an opportunity for me to make some money outside of what I was currently already doing.
But you hear that a lot, right? Like you hear the hocus pocus of residual income, like all the time. I'm not sure. Are you still there, Mr.
Yeah,
Mickle?
yeah, I still can see you. Yes.
Okay. So we hear that hocus pocus, and I really maybe want to say it in the way somebody else is thinking. Yeah, I believe people make residual income. I know that people make, Michael Jackson make royalties. I get that. I even know the nowadays of seeing, celebrities do certain things, right? You talking about this residual income get paid over and over and over again. But that don't happen magically. It don't just happen over and over and over again. So if would you have accepted, if you had to get $100 for the rest of your life, would that have been enough to keep you here today? You know what I'm saying?
Well, you got to start somewhere. I'm not saying $100 would have been enough to keep me here, but it all depends on what I'm looking for. Let me explain. My first residual check after 90 days, my first residual check was $24.08. After 90 days of working in the industry hard, going hard. And my wife said, wait a minute, how much is that check? I said $24.80, 8 cents, or something like that. Might be 80 cents, but I think it's 8 cents. And I should have back then I have a phone, so back then I would have took a picture of it. I would have framed it or something. But I know it was $24. But what it told me, Mr. Thomas, is that it works. That's all I wanted to see, whether or not they will pay me, and if that this residual income thing was real. For Mr. Eric Preston to have a book this thick and making over $70,000 a month, he had to start somewhere. His first check wasn't 70-some thousand. He had already been in the company for almost over a year and a half. Okay. But my thing was timing. But residual income for me is what caught my attention. And I knew after 90 days, I was like, wait a minute, $24.08? Man, if I do more of that, I can increase that. But a lot of people who started with me in 1996, I don't even know where these people are. Some of them, I see them, but they back working a job, they're doing what they do. But this residual income thing works. All you need to know is that when it comes to residual income, whether it's $100 in residual income, which is $12,000, $1,200 a year, that's equate to almost $3,000 a month in the real world.
Okay, I got you, because you're exchanging time for dollars, and residual income, you're not exchanging time for dollars. You did the work up front. But okay, you made $24. How do you go? I know you're saying work. What work change, or what change for you to go from $24 to 5 figures a month? Like, were you not doing the same work? Like, and what about the people that was right next to you? Everybody wasn't making $70,000 a month. So what about the other people that was next to you that made $100? You know what I'm saying? A month. Like, what happened to them, and what changed in work for you to go from $24 to 5 figures a month? Like, or were you doing the same thing? You just did more of it? What is it?
Well, first of all, remember I was new to network marketing. So you talking about September, my first residual check, I already had 3 months in, was $24 and some change. So I was 3 months in. I was earning while I was learning. And the key was, for me, is stick-to-itness. I was hungry. I wanted to learn how to present, train, coach, teach, follow the leader, and showing up to all my events. I never missed no events. Anything that they had going on within a 5-mile radius, weekend, weekday, I was there, because I wanted to learn. Why? I already knew that it worked, because Mr. Eric Precious had a big book. I haven't really met Montreal at that point yet, but I knew it worked. In order for him to have that many people in his group, he never showed me a check or anything. He didn't need to. He showed me his downline when he was getting 10 cents, 5 cents, quarter, 8 cents. It was pennies. But when you got thousands and thousands of reps on your team, of business partners, all those pennies, nickels, and dimes and quarters adds up. Okay. So therefore, when I saw that, I needed to develop a system, and I followed that system that he had, because he was an upline. He was like maybe 4 levels up above me. He was up, Montreal was up 2 levels above him. But it was that, because I was on Montreal's 7th level at the time. But when I saw the residual income coming in, the $24, it changed my life, because now I knew that this thing worked. How do I increase that? I increased my team, get more customers. And when I got more customers and my team got more customers, my income started to grow. Now my second check was $320 some. My third check was over $1,000 residually. Now that was about 8 months in, or 9 months in, or something like that. But it started to grow. And then once I hit the Karma Club, as we always would say, you got to get in the Karma Club residual. Once I hit that, I already had a system in place, Mr. Thomas, that I still do 26 years later.
Okay, you said a couple things that excite me, and it led to one of the questions. We're going to talk about products and services, services and actual physical products. I know we was in that space of service. We went to products because of higher margins. We went back to service, and we can get into which one you prefer, why you like, whatever. But you said something that kind of caught my attention. You said the team. You said your check went up as your team got bigger. Now, how did you handle, or what did you think about, maybe even sideline partners, where they wasn't making a check? Like, they wasn't making a check. Like, they didn't get a check. Like, they wasn't having success. They wasn't getting residual income. Did you take that on personally, or how did you handle those moments? Because everybody didn't make a check around you.
No, everybody did. But those that I personally enrolled, I tried to work with them as much as possible, because everybody's not going to follow the system, but they want the results. And I had to pick that up early. And one of the guys always said, I think it was Mr. Um, Gene Player, not Harry. Harry, bless his soul, but Gene Player said something one time. You can't leave people behind who don't want to be left behind. And I heard that. And once I go back to you and try to pull you up as much as I possibly could, after a period, I got to keep doing what I'm doing with the ones that are ready to run. And I developed that attitude early on. I developed that attitude early on. You know, run with the runners and walk with the walkers. I only walked with the walkers when I had time to walk. It wasn't that I was resting, only when I had time to walk. But I ran with the runners all the time. And that's what I had to focus on. So I couldn't worry about if it was you, Mr. Thomas, that wasn't as hungry as I was. I wasn't as hungry as the other 8, 9 people that I brought into the company. But I still never disrespected you, never forgotten about you. I would always touch base and say, come on, you got to get going. Because you wasn't willing to put in the time that I was willing to put in. You wasn't willing to sacrifice what I was willing to sacrifice to get to where I am today.
I got that. You said something, and we're gonna go to the questions. Boy, this is good. I hope y'all enjoy. Put some fires in the chat if you're enjoying this conversation. If you're getting some from this conversation, put some fires in the chat. You can comment. But I'm enjoying this, and I know this has to be a multiple part conversation because we never got to just you and I connecting. But you said something about running and walking. You wasn't walking because you got tired. You said you were walking because you had time. So what is it about speed and money? What is it about speed and business? Like what is it about? I always hear the speed of the pack is speed of the leader. I'm always hearing this thing about speed. And you've always said some things about speed. And I notice it with myself when I'm not doing things fast or I'm not. What is that speed thing? Can you share?
Absolutely. I always say, the speed of the leader is the speed of the pack. And if you want to be out front, you're going to have to rank up. You're going to have to rank up. And the only way you're going to truly build belief in your team is that you rank up. Not that you're leaving the team behind. You got to go rank up to build the belief. Because if my goal on this line, if I was just getting started, I'm going to set me a goal to be at diamond in 90 days or less. Might be 60 days or less. Why? Because the fastest I can get there, the fastest I'm going to get my team to believe that it works. See, because if I never hit a rank, and I'm telling my team about we're going to go legend, we're going to go platinum, we're going to go here, and I'm not there, then therefore, how can I talk to them about we run into something if I have not made it there? But if I stay at gold, I'm using gold because these are our ranks. If I stay at gold and I'm talking about legend, and I'm not even running toward legend, doing legend things, then I'm going to start losing interest in my people. So my goal was the speed of the leader and the speed of the pack. I run to the ranks so I can tell you about the ranks. You know I always told you that. I always told the team.
We're going to get that. We're going to get that. Don't.
Okay.
We're going to get that. I
always told you that. But I always ran the speed. You do everything with speed. Everything you do in network marketing, you got to do it fast. Let me tell you why. First thing is you want to be able to lead. Second thing is let the team know that it's doable. The third thing is that you want to be able to have that conversation with your team. Hey, they paid it $5,000 a month. They paid it $10,000 a month. They paid it $20,000 a month. Because they paid it $50,000 a month. Why? Because you hit it already. You can't talk about what the company is going to pay out if you, the leader, has never earned it. And what you do, and I always set a goal, Mr. Thomas, and I might be getting ahead of myself, but I always set a goal when I join any company, and I set this up with the team. We're going to run hard for the next 18 months to enjoy the next 5 to 10 years. Because of what you do in 18 months, if you really run it for 18 months solid, and you have runners to run with you, you can eat off of that. If the company stays in business, stays healthy, you eat off of that for the next 5 years.
So you saying the speed builds like a momentum type of thing, and is the same
Absolutely.
with money. Is
It's
the
all about
same.
momentum. It's
Is
all
all.
about momentum. All
Yeah.
about momentum.
Okay, so we getting into we're gonna hit the topic of the products because we were talking about products, services. Okay, one thing I remember when we got together, we connected through my aunt, who you guys are still real good friends and everything. And so we got connected, and I remember one day we were on the phone. I'll never forget it, and you was complimenting me on being able to get customers. And you asked me how I was getting customers. And I told you I was going door to door, knocking on the door and changing people's phone service over. And you always have a way of, doing these, or, just some things, right? Like you thinking or what have you. And you was like, I thought you said you wanted to build a business. Stop being a product pusher and build a business, Gino. And so, what does that mean? Stop building a business, stop being a product pusher, because you like the product. And every company we've been a part of, you really, in fact, you wouldn't have touched any deal that you've ever done in life, even if it's buying a real estate, if you didn't at least like the piece of real estate, or you didn't like the Kayani juice, or you didn't like the product. So what does it mean to stop being a product pusher and build a business? What is that building a business? Because people think it's recruiting. And that was another thing you told me. You told me building a business includes recruiting, but it's not recruiting. Explain that. Can you share that?
Well, the first question is, when I told you stop just being a product of stop just being the product pusher, I meant you need to share this opportunity. If you believe in the product the way you believe in it, you also need to share it with other people, other than just going to them and say, hey, I need you to be my customer and sign up. So, and I always said this to you. I remember this conversation. I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own. That's what I said to you on that same phone call. When you asked me, what do you mean by that? I said, I'd rather have 1% of 100 people's effort than 100% of my own. And you said, oh, I got it. And that's when you went and started building a business. So that's what I meant, just stop just being, and nothing wrong with sharing. You can get as many customers as you want. But at some point, you told me you want to build a business, so you got to start sharing the opportunity. And then let them get customers. Because your residual income is only going to be, if you only go out and get customers yourself, that's just where your residual income is going to be. But if you got customer gatherers, or customer getters, I should say, then therefore, a part of their residual is going to become a part of yours, and so on and so on and so on. So therefore, you definitely want to build a team, and everybody's getting a bunch of customers.
But you also said, recruiting is a part of building a business, but it's not your business. So help me understand. I got to build a team. I got to have an organization. How do you see business? How do you see network marketing? Like,
I see network marketing. One thing about network marketing, see, I don't really use that word. For network marketing purposes, you might hear me say recruit. But me personally, I enroll. That's like, football teams recruit, pros recruit, everybody recruits. But when you enroll a person, it's a different type of recruitment. I'm gonna use the word recruitment with that. That means you enroll them into your vision, and you actually take them through the process of becoming your business partner. Now, anybody can go out here and recruit somebody and put them on your team today and say, call me if you need something. I've never been that type of person. Call me if you need something. So I'd rather enroll you, take you through the back office, I've showed you everything, work with you. Let's work out a game plan so we can create something very important They call it creating a story. The faster you can create a story, the faster you can build your organization. That's where the speed piece come in. That's where the speed piece come in at. You must create a story in network marketing. And if you don't ever create a story, the longer it takes you to create a story, the slower your organization is going to grow. That's just network marketing 101. The faster you can create a story, the faster you can what? Because you can get, what that means is summing it up. The faster I can get a check in your hand, the bigger your belief is going to be. That's
But
how you
I really have never heard you outside of, say, a meeting or something, refer to yourself as a network marketer. I've always heard you refer to yourself as a business owner, a business person. Do you run your network marketing business? And we're going to use it for the, terms for the sake of where we are, the space we are. Do you run your network marketing like you would run a traditional business, like your other businesses? Like, do you build your teams the same? Do you build your team for your real estate business or for your other businesses? Do you build them the same? Do you treat them the same? Because if building a business includes recruiting, but it's not recruiting, like, do you see network marketing as a business?
Absolutely. And in our conversation, and any of my leaders that I personally enroll, I always look at it as a business. Why? Because I'm putting my board of directors in place. That means you don't go after the brokers of the brokers people. When I ask people to make a list, I always say, I hear people say, make a list of 100 people, make a list of 50 people, make a list of 1,000 people. I never ask people to do it. Make a list of your first 15 people. I might go to 25 at the most. Let me tell you why. Because I want your first 15 people to be like your board of directors. Those are the sharpest people that you possibly can go to. But most people, when they tell them to make a list, they put down the first 10 people that they feel needed the opportunity. Oh man, I know so-and-so need this. I know so-and-so need this. You might think that they need it, but they don't know that they need it. That's the difference. So I don't never look at any opportunity from the needy. I'd rather go for the greedy than the needy. So what I mean by that is I'm looking for people who are hungry, who I know that's money motivated or opportunity motivated, and I go after them first. So therefore, I don't go after all these people, Mr. Thomas, initially. I go after the sharpest and the people that I want to be, as I call my quote unquote, board of directors. That's who I go after first.
You go after a target, a group audience, based on mindset. Then you go to a larger group. Then you go to everybody else. Is that what I'm hearing you say?
Somebody real quick, somebody who I know that's struggling financially, that I personally know. If I know you're struggling financially, you would definitely not be the first person that I come to talk to you about an opportunity. You're not. Why? It's because I know that you're coming with a different mindset. You got to make money today. You got to make money this month. And when you're talking network marketing, if you don't have that network, that's not going to happen. So therefore, I'm really setting you up for more failure than what you already are. But most people say, oh, I know so-and-so hurting financially, they need this. You know they need it, but they don't know that they need this opportunity. And network marketing is not going to work because you don't even know network marketing. So you're going to have to take the process and go through the process and learn network marketing, learn our system that I have in order to build up the income that you need. So I don't go after people that's hurting. If I know you're hurting financially upfront, I don't.
So, Mr. Mickle, we're going to get into another, and man, this is good. If this is good for you, put some fires in the chat. I know we definitely don't want to go too far over, but I got some really good questions for you. We might be a tad bit over, but I hope the people are enjoying it. If you ain't enjoying it, put some fires in the chat. We need to know, because I don't want to just shut it down on the people, right? So, Mr. Mickle, ownership. I've been screaming to you since maybe 2011, 2012 about owning.
Gino, we can't hear you.
I can't. Can y'all hear me though?
Gino, I can hear you, Jacob. Gino, we
Okay.
can't hear you.
Separately, and
Gino, we couldn't hear you. We couldn't hear you, sir. You got to say all that over again.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay. I was saying that, going into ownership in 2011, 2012, maybe you can remember better. I wasn't eager. I was eager to actually be an owner.
Gino, we can't hear you.
His phone, I think his phone's ringing.
Gino.
I think his phone is ringing.
I can do it by myself. But eventually I owned by myself, you owned by yourself, we owned and had interests together. So what changed for you? Like, how did you go to not wanting to be an owner to ownership? You know what I'm saying? Like, and what make you the right person now?
I'm not saying, well, I'm gonna go ahead and get that last part right. I'm not saying I'm the right owner, but I am gonna say to you, I didn't want to become an owner in network marketing. I didn't, because whenever I got a chance to meet the owners, Mr. Thomas, are you still there? I just see a cat, look like a cat on the screen or something.
Oh yes, sir. I'm there.
Okay,
Right.
your camera is off, basically.
Sorry about that.
Okay, I see. Okay, all right. I was just making sure you're there, but that cat is back though. But at any rate, but I never really, I never really wanted to be an owner. But when you start seeing certain things that goes on in the industry, and you've been around this industry and you had some success, as much as I have, I'm not gonna say it's a lot, but I had some success in this industry. When you start seeing certain things that come your way and you start disliking them, and you and I were in a company called Pay to Save. And matter of fact, I'm looking at
Yeah, I remember that
application.
company.
I'm looking at an application that's in my desk right now. But you and I was in that company, and the owner had promised us a lot of stuff that they were going to do and all that good stuff. 6 months into it, this is what really changed my whole mindset, because I was already at the point where I was tired of a lot of the way ownership's been treating and the way they were doing people and all that good stuff. So I was already tired. But that guy, that was the one, that was the straw that broke the camel's back for me. Because he never, 6 months later, he didn't do what he said he was going to do for us and the team that we brought over. And in 6 months, you and I know that we put in, Miss Anderson was a part of that, Miss Rivers was a part of it, you was a part of it. If anybody else was on here, that's a part of it, I think Lisa Moore was a part of it. I think she's out there. But when that owner lied to us, lied to us, myself and my other partner, he lied to us. You guys didn't know about it. And we was having a convention in Las Vegas at that time. And we all got our teams, went to Las Vegas as if we were going to that meeting. And I know you remember.
Absolutely.
And we got in the room, we called a team meeting, all our people came. I know that's right, Miss Lisa Moore. All our team came, And that's when myself and Mr. Donaldson said that we was going to launch Inspire Global. That was a company that I owned 20% of, and he was an 80% owner. Well, he wasn't 80%, he was 49, but we had some other partners in that company. And that was my first experience of ownership. And the reason why I had to go that way, because I was sick and tired of being sick and tired of the way ownership was treating and going out of business and snatching the rug from under people. So, Mr. Thomas, I'm gonna say this. This is when the shift happened. When I got to the point where I started seeing things on people that believed in me. And I started seeing seeing the way people were like, Jacob, what are we gonna do? What are we gonna do? And when people start asking that question, you know that their lives and what they doing depends on your next move. And I said, well, hold on, right then. I knew we was going. Mr. Barry Donaldson and I, we were already talking about doing something. Because I told Barry, if I'm doing anything from now on out, I'm doing my own thing. And we tried it. We ran for what, 2 years? But we ran for 2 years, and come to find out, Miss Anderson, Leah Anderson I'm talking to, come to find out that my partner was no different than the owners that I had just talked about. Selfish, controlling, definitely didn't care about the people, and I just couldn't deal with that either. So I left my investment and I left everything on the table. Forget it, I'm out. I had a call with all you guys and said, look guys, I'm gone. I didn't know for about 2 months where I was going, what I was going to do, but I made my decision to leave that. And then that's when Tradera came along. No, Kayani came first because I decided to go back to Kayani, but I only stayed there 2 months, and then Tradera came along. So therefore, Tradera came along, and somebody else caught my attention. I had this conversation with you, Mr. Thomas. I had this conversation with you, and I said, man, what I don't like about this company, the owners are not being visible. You can't talk to them. You can't see them. You can't whatever. I said, let's get this thing. When I approach you, let's get this thing 2 years. Either it's going to be out of business or we're going to make a lot of money. Did I not say that to you?
I remember that. Yeah, I remember
Absolutely.
that. So that's one thing that I always appreciated with you, not to cut you off. I always appreciated that when we got into something, we could look at the company or look at the environment of what was going on, and we know exactly, almost to the letter, of how long we can be there, whether us or the company. That was pretty cool, and so yeah, when we looked at that company, we knew exactly where it was going to end up, when it was going to end up there. Except the owners put a monkey wrench in the program, because they did something way sooner than expected, and that happens sometimes.
But what happened though, Mr. Thomas, is this though, is by running the way we ran, because we had to run fast because we didn't know when the time was going to run out. Let's make as much money as we possibly can with a lot of people, and we did that. But when it came to finding the right partners to own with, I didn't know it was going to be the partners that we have today. I didn't, but I liked the setup. I liked the way it was going. So I felt different than I did with my partner Barry at the time. But I made it clear.
What made them different? What made them different?
Here's the thing. And matter of fact, I know 2 of my partners out there now, both of my partners out there right now. And if they can remember, this is my biggest thing. And I always say this. I said, one thing, we looked at the pros and the cons, because all of us have been in the industry at least over 8+ years. We looked at the pros and the cons. But what we did, we got rid of the cons. and said, this is what we want to look like. That was the first start for me. This is what we want our company, not necessarily a network marketing, but this is what we want our company to look like. And when we all laid that down, myself, Mr. Sloan, Ms. Lynch, we all laid that down of how we want to look. But my biggest thing was this: we're going to treat the people. I asked this question: we're going to treat the people right. What do I mean by that? Because my last partner said, hell with the people. Why are you always worrying about these people? Because somebody didn't get, they felt that they deserved a residual check, but they wasn't getting it. So therefore, I hadn't gotten one. So therefore, he said, hell with those people. You always concerned about that. Hell, let's think about getting our bag. That was a turnoff for me. But here, when I was talking to my partners, my co-founders, one thing I said, we're gonna love on the people. If we can do that, we're gonna take time with the people. We're always gonna be approachable. We're gonna take pictures, and we're not going out the back door. We're gonna walk through the audience. We're gonna walk out the same door that everybody else walking out. When I felt my partners could do that, I wanted to be in business with them. Not only that they had the drive, they had the compassion, they wanted it to work. And that's why we are here celebrating 2 years later, because it was the right move. It was the right partnership. And we are the founders that can be found. For me, in order for it to work, I had to have those things. I can't feel like I'm way above everybody else because I'm the owner. Because I seen owners like that, and I didn't like it when I was a rep. I didn't like it. That's one thing you will never see me act like that. That's why I say I love you guys and there's nothing you can do about it, because I know nobody else is speaking like that. Because I didn't feel that I was getting love even when I was a top producer from the owners. I was only as good as my last paycheck. I was only as good as my team signing up the last person to their company. And after that, I didn't feel welcome. So therefore, when we started this, I don't care if it was you, Mr. Thomas, who making $5,000 a month, or it was Miss Lynn Chandler, who just got started yesterday. I'm gonna treat you the same. We're gonna treat you the same. As long as I was getting that from these partners, and I felt that I could, then I was all in. That was different for me. And that's why this partnership with my co-founders, that's why it works today, because of that. That's one of the main reasons. I'm still here, Mr. Sloan is still here, Ms. Reagan Lynch is still here, because we all have the same common goal for the common unity. So that's how I got into ownership and feel good about this, Mr. Thomas.
Now, we're going to be wrapping up shortly, but I have a couple, maybe short things for you to respond to.
Sure.
What is your biggest failure? And maybe you might not even, maybe you want to share details, maybe you don't. What is your biggest failure that you feel to date? And what is your biggest success?
Now we are talking network marketing, or you're talking in life, because I can't.
Whatever you want to share.
But I'm gonna say, well, being that we're talking network marketing, we're gonna keep it network marketing. Okay. My biggest failure in network marketing is one time that I felt early on in my career, within my first 5 years, I think my first 5 years, and I had gotten up to about $14,000 a month. And the biggest failure I had was when I felt like I had arrived. I felt like I had arrived. And I started having different conversations with people. Man, you conversation like this, man, you broke. And the reason why you broke is because you're doing that job. The reason why you broke because you need to change my, some of it was true, but it wasn't my job, Mr. Thomas. But it wasn't my job to really share that with those people. See, because I had to realize that I had grown to a certain point, but that person hasn't. I had to give that person an opportunity to get to where I was. I had to give that person an opportunity. So a big fade for me when I realized that I guess I felt like I had arrived in network marketing. I felt I had it going on in network marketing, and I started having downgrading conversation. That was the biggest failure in my network marketing career. But I only stayed in that space for about 6 months. And I had this conversation. My wife heard me talking to somebody on the phone one day, and she said, "Why are you talking to them like that?" And I said, "I'm just tired of talking to broke behind people. I'm tired of this." And she said, "Jacob, you got to remember where that you had to get started too. There was a first time for you. You didn't come out making $14,000, whatever." She didn't say the amount. You didn't come out being where you are. And it dawned on me, you're right. And I made a promise to myself that I would never, ever talk to anybody like that. That was my biggest failure. My biggest compliment was in network marketing was to see so many people that's in other network marketing companies today that came up through a team that I developed, that we had relationships. They went on and moved on, and they're doing 6 figures, and some of them doing 7 figures right now in other companies. That was one of my biggest accomplishments, to call them up and say, "Man, congratulations. Man, I'd love to see you winning." And now, for me and my family to be able to live a lifestyle that we only dreamt about 26 years ago, when we saw people making money in this industry, which I never knew that people could make money this way. I never believed in it 26, 27 years ago. I never believed in it. But to get to this point today and know so many people in the industry, and knowing that my wife and my family, we can go, it all depends on which child go with us. We can go and stay as long as we want. We can return from a vacation when we want. But we had to work to get there, Mr. Thomas. This stuff didn't happen overnight. And I believe that this day will come because I created in my mind 7 days of Saturday is what I was working for. 7 days of Saturday, because everything, when I was in the industry, every time I would talk to somebody, they couldn't come to a meeting and they'd say, "Well, the meeting's on Saturday." Well, I can't make it. I got to go to the grocery store. I got to cook. I got to clean up. I got to wash clothes. I got to go to the cleaners. Whatever it was, it was always an excuse for their Saturdays. And I started telling people, "Man, you know what? Saturday's when you can do all this stuff on Saturday. That's the only day they really got it, because they say they rest on Sunday after they go to church." But Mr. Thomas, I started saying, "Well, I want every day to be Saturday. I want to wash clothes on Monday. I want to go to the grocery store on Tuesday. I want to go to the cleaners on Wednesday. I want to go to the mall on Friday. Whatever it is, I wanted 7 days. I wanted all my days to look like a Saturday." And that was my biggest accomplishment, man, to be able to say, the people that I see that came up through that group that's doing well, and now living a quality life with my family, and my wife is still around, which is the blessing while I was doing this.
Absolutely.
My wife is still around. 31 years that we've been married. And, it was rocky through this industry of network marketing that we are still here together, and that she can enjoy in what I was working for all these years.
Absolutely. And in wrapping things up, I'm glad that you guys, she stayed and you guys made it, through the turbulence, and you're here today. If you could change anything, what would you change? And what do you want to leave the people with? If you can change anything, what would you change? What do you
Let
want
me
to
answer
leave?
that first. Let me answer that one first.
Yeah.
If I could change anything, I won't change nothing. Because I had to go through what I had to go through, and I had to go through in order to grow to where I needed to be. So I wouldn't change anything. Because I think I had to go through it to grow. I had to grow through it to get to where I am today. So I wouldn't change anything, Mr. Tom. But what I would leave with the people, for me, it was all about consistency. That's why I preach consistency. You keep doing the same thing over and over and over. But what the biggest mistake that most people make in this industry, Mr. Thomas, including you, is not staying consistent enough, consistent long enough to see your fruits of your labor. And sticking to the system that got you there. Because most people, they run, even people on here, people they're tradesmen, the apprentice, the silvers, the gold, and the diamonds. I'm not gonna go any higher than that. All you guys did a certain thing to get to those ranks. The reason why, and this is my point, I'm telling you, if you had to stay consistent of what it took you to hit either one of those positions, you would be way farther along today. But what happens in network marketing, people hit a rank of leisure, as they will call it, and they take too long of a break. You got to remember, when you hit the rank, your team didn't hit that rank with you. You were promoted to the rank, but the team helped you get there. So your goal is they're celebrating you. Now it's your time to what? Turn around and celebrate them and get them to where you are. And even though you are the leader by helping them get your apprentice, now you move on to silver. Now they're celebrating that they have a silver upline. But now your goal is to turn around and promote as many people as you can to silver on your team. And guess in ultimately that will get you to gold. They're celebrating your gold, but you're celebrating their silver. And ultimately they will hit gold and you will hit diamond. They celebrating your diamond, but you turn around and celebrate their gold. Because remember, it's never about you. Nobody on this line who ever worked with Jacob that I ever made it about me. I take the accolades as they come, the trophies and everything, but I always say this is a team effort. This is a team trophy. I don't know anybody that hit the top in no network marketing company by themselves unless they were grandfathered at that position. What that means, grandfather, that means they was given the position and never earned it. But I'm saying, which we don't do here in Extreme, we grandfather you at nothing. Either you earn it all the way through, because nobody gave me anything in network marketing. Not one iota, nothing. I always work for it. And I see people, would come in companies and for whatever reason, they get ranked up, they get put in or whatever. And next thing you know, when their production doesn't equate to their rank, they're gone. They're gone. But if you earn it, now you can teach it. And now people can believe it and you know that it works. And that's why I always say that you earn it. Please earn it. But you can't, but one thing you can't do in network marketing is celebrate too long. And nothing wrong with celebrating for 2 or 3 minutes, 5 minutes or whatever, and you on back on. Now it's about pulling your team up. Most people celebrate and once they hit these ranks, they change what they did to get to the rank. Start doing different things. But no, stick with when you got your first 3 people, however you did that, show the video, PS3 is the way. If you show the video, 3-way phone call, and that worked one time, continue to do it. If they came to a meeting, to a Zoom, and then you did a 3-way afterwards, continue to do it. But what most people do, they get in, they get to these positions and they celebrate. No, and then they stop doing what they done, what they were doing to get there. That's the biggest mistake. Guys, you got to develop the system and continue to do it over and over and over and over and over again, all the way until you retire from the industry.
So, Mr. Mickle, I definitely, if Ms. Gonzalez or Ms. Anderson has one question from the audience, I definitely want to get one of those questions in, Ms. Anderson or Ms. Gonzalez. But if you can wrap up, sir, after answering that question with the 2023 goals, and you can close us out. Ms. Anderson, Ms. Gonzalez, do you have a question from
Yes,
the family?
I do have. First, I want to say to both you and Mr. Mickle, this was greatly needed and appreciated. I mean, even me, having been in the industry for almost 50 some years, I have learned a lot just in this short period of time. And as Mr. Mickle knows, I was in Las Vegas, so he knows I know. But Mr. Mickle, out of all the network marketing companies, because you and I have been in at least 5 of them together, how many network marketing companies?
If Ms. Leah, if you can, say if you know who it came from, say the family member who the question is.
This is her question, Mr. Thomas.
This is her question. Okay.
Mr. Mickle, how many network marketing companies in total do you think you've been in?
15.
That's about right. And secondly, I'm going to make it real quick. For 2023, where do you see Extreme FX Global Academy going?
Well, Extreme going in 2023. That's going to depend on you, Leah. No, I'm just kidding. But no, 2023, I see where we're going. We're gonna really turn the corner in 2023. And Extreme will become a household name because we're gonna attract the right leadership in 2023. Why? Because we're gearing up to make sure that we look like that company that can attract the type of leadership that's out there, that's overlooking us right now, don't even know who we are. Okay, so in 2023, that's what we're going to do. Now, here's, and I know this, I'm not going to add all this in at the same time since we're talking about it. What we're going to look like, we're going to look like a company to be reckoned with in this industry in 2023. What do you mean by that, Jacob? Our goal by June is to have actively 5,000 new members in the system. And by the time we have the conversation next year, around this time, we want to have 10,000 active members on the book. Okay. Now, Extreme will be at that point with 5,000 to 10,000 active reps in 2023. At that point, we will be a force to be reckoned with. Why? Everybody will know our name. Everybody will know what we do and what we stand for. But what we are not going to do in 2023 is just try to attract the wrong people. Extreme, we have an identity that we have to protect. We just don't want to be known as a network marketing company that just throws stuff up against the wall and anybody can come in here and just do whatever. No. We want to keep a certain culture, and you have to fit into the culture of what Extreme is what Extreme is all about. And if you can't fit into that culture, it's just like a good person can't last in a bad environment long. A bad person can't survive in a good environment long. So when people come here, if they're the right people, they'll stick and stay. Because of our coaching and our vision and our I think I said culture already, and what we stand for as owners. So 2023 is going to be bright, but we got a lot of work to do, and we need everybody on here. We need all your help. But you guys, only thing I can say about what you guys need to do, you're going to have to become more consistent in what you do. You can't do even though you're doing it part-time, even though you're doing it, some of you doing it full-time, even though you're doing it part-time, but you got to do it part-time, not just anytime or whenever you can do it. You got to have a part-time system. If you work a job, ladies and gentlemen, like I was doing 80+ hours a week, I took time on my lunch break to pique people's interest. And then after work, I worked until I passed out. Why? Because I wanted this to be my full-time income. That was just my goal, but I stayed consistent with that.
Ma, you want to go some lunch?
No, I don't want any lunch, Candy. Not right now.
So,
Okay,
Mr.
but
Mickle,
yes, okay. Lil, I'm sorry. Well, did I answer your question, Miss Leah Anderson? I'm sorry. Miss
Yes,
Leah?
you did. I couldn't unmute, but yes, you answered my question and it's greatly appreciated.
Absolutely.
Mr. Mickle, I definitely appreciate this time. I hope the people did as well, where they were on the line and stayed on the line. Put some fires in the chat for Mr. Mickle, the time that he gave us, and put some fires in the chat for
You know,
yourself.
let me cut in for a minute. Gino?
Yes, ma'am. Can
Hi,
you hear me?
this is Tanny. I want to bring it up to the founders. I know Adrian was here earlier. I think he probably just got knocked off. I want to open it up to our co-founder, Reagan Lynch, if you have something to share for Mr. Jacob Mickle. And then I have a question from the community.
Is Reagan on or not? Or she's in a
She
bag?
just unmuted.
Okay.
Reagan's on. Okay, she probably can't. Okay, so while she gets on, I have a question from the community. That was for you, Mr. Mickle.
Mhm.
And the question is from BB. And this particular person wants to know, what advice would you give someone who has not ranked up in 3 months or 6 months or even a year, who does and knows or think they know the system? What advice to start the new year to get new results?
Okay. That's Miss Bridget Butler, right? I would first of all tell that person to hang in there, because it's something that's missing. Because if you has not ranked up, and what I mean by rank, I guess getting your 3, at least hitting tradesman, that's a rank. Apprentice, that's another rank, right? But it's staying consistent in the, that's always gonna be my answer. You got to stay consistent. So I would tell that person that they are doing something wrong. Either they're talking too much, or they think they have it and they don't. And they're gonna have to be a little bit more coachable on their approach. Now, I'm gonna say hang in there, please hang in there, but you got to come to class. You got to come to events. You got to get trained, and then watch. Once you get trained, watch how your output that you output, and what are you saying to the universe, and what are you saying to yourself, or what are you saying to people? Watch how that change, and watch how it change in a short period of time, because you've been around long enough to know that it's time for you to have some success. So 2023, just get a little bit more coaching, learn what to say and what not to say, and stick close to Miss Bridget Butler.
And Mr. Mickle, it goes back to what you were saying earlier, that consistency, even after you get your 3, just continue being consistent over a period of time that you decide, and that's going to yield some additional results, and is going to yield some sustainability. That's what it be. Sometimes I know for me and some others, Mr. Mickle, we might get our 3 out of the way, or we might even get a couple more, and we begin to work with everybody else. But the activity of what we should be doing ourselves personally every single day in our business, that slows down when you work with people. And so I think creating that balance of when you're working on your business and when you're helping everybody else with their business. Would you say that could be true?
Yeah, but I always enroll people. I continue always in everything that I do. But then you have different calls. Let me break this down for you real quick, fam, to help you guys out with that question, what Mr. Thomas just said. You always continue to enroll new people, but that doesn't have to slow down with the people that you're working with. See, because that's two different calls. Because if I have somebody, a team that already been in place for 3 months, I'm not going to have that new person unless I'm having a team call on that line when I'm talking to the team that's been around for 3 months, having that same conversation with the new people that I just enrolled. I'm gonna have a separate team call, which is so-called leadership call with those people that have been around a little longer, because that's a different conversation. Because the new people are not where they are. That's one of the biggest mistakes that people make in this opportunity, to have a conversation with everybody about the same thing, but everybody's not on the same page. Everybody's not at the same level. So you got to know your audience and know your team. So when you start talking to your team, you might have 3 different calls, but you can't be lazy when it comes to working your business. So that means you might have 3 different calls: a newbie call, new beginners call for all the new people, and then you have an advanced call for the people who've been in for 30 days or more, and then you have another call for people who've been in the business for 60 days or more, or something like that, or 90 days or more. And when you do that, ladies and gentlemen, now you can have different conversations, because everybody's going to grow at a different pace. The new people got to catch up with the old people, but most people talk to everybody the same, but everybody's not at the same pace, at the same level at that point. So that's how you sum that up, Mr. Thomas.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mickle. Ms. Lynch has unmuted, so go ahead, Ms. Lynch.
I unmuted by accident, and I'm hoping that you guys can hear me chewing, but it's like, I was thinking of that meme where Michael Jackson was eating the popcorn and he's like really into it. That's how I've been this whole call. And I've had the pleasure, thank you, Tanny. I've had the pleasure of being able to, have long conversations with Mr. Mickle. So Mr. Gino Thomas, thank you so much for putting this call on and this interview, because it's just really inspired me. And like I said, I get a chance to talk to Jacob all the time. Like, we'll be on the phone late at night, 1, 2 in the morning, just catching up on the day. But I heard a couple of these stories that he told recently, just maybe like last week or so before the holiday. And it really touched me because, it's a process, and, life is a process. It's a journey. So especially when you're adding business and entrepreneurship, it's a process. And to hear Mr. Mickle talk about, how he was in a company and in ownership, and he decided to step away from, a lot of money because his partner wasn't treating the people right. That says a lot about Mr. Mickle. And when he told me that, I think it was last week, Jacob, when we were on the phone,
Yes.
you were telling me that story. And I already know what an amazing person you are and your integrity. But when you told me that, I'm like, it's been a process for you. And when you said, that when you were not speaking to or started speaking to the people wrong, when you thought you arrived, you had to check your own heart. And I really appreciate that. And I feel like all of us, we have to check our own hearts sometimes. And I appreciate you just sharing those stories and just really letting the people of Extreme get to know you as an owner, as, a past distributor, as a husband, a father. So I'm just blessed to be in to be in your company, sir. And
We're here with you.
yeah. And one thing, like with everyone on here, if your journey hasn't been successful in your eyes, or you haven't made the money that you wanted to make, it's a new year, New Year's resolutions. Yeah. I might make a new resolution every day, if I feel like I need to step up my game a little bit. So I just encourage you all, as Mr. Mickle and Mr. Gino Thomas encouraged you all with this interview, to just stay the course. But you got to do the work every day. Look at yesterday and like, what did I actually do? And it's about being honest with yourself. And Mr. Mickle said consistency, dedication. It's the belief, it's the goals that you set for yourself. Because if you have no goals, you have nothing to run to. If you have nothing that you're dreaming about, where are you going to go from there? You're going to stay right where you are. So I encourage you all to dream. I said it on the call Monday, to dream, create your own life, create your own adventure in your head first, and then run towards it. And I'm just excited about this coming year in Extreme. I'm excited about this coming year with, other business ventures as well, personally, not just Extreme. So I always say that because I want you all to know that you have to have some sort of passion and know that Extreme can fund that passion. It's got to fund the passion. If you're working and you're just paying bills with your money and taking care of kids, you have to have something, and Extreme is that something that can really fund your passions and boost your own hopes and dreams, so you can have the 2023 that you want. So Mr. Mickle, sorry, I didn't mean to take over, but
No.
I just thank you for your love, your encouragement, your hard work, your consistency. You've been saying the same thing since I met you in 2020, early 2020. So I just appreciate you just staying the course and being consistent and always showing love.
Thank you so much, sis. And I appreciate you even more than you think and more than you know, because I love talking to you late at night, and after we recap our day, and just being in business with you, Miss Lynch, and your integrity and who you are and how your passion for the people. And that's why that Axe Reagan, definitely fit who you really are. Okay, so thank you for being a partner, man. And and I love being in business with you. I really do. And that's why I'm still here, because of people like, partners like you make me want to stay in business and fight for this community, doesn't matter what we face. And I appreciate you so much. I'm gonna say this right here, Tanner. Can y'all see this book? Can y'all see the name of it?
Yes.
Success is never ending and failure is never final. These are one book that I've been reading. This book is so old, but this is the one, Dr. Wayne Dyer. Dr. Wayne Dyer, almost like my network marketing savior, bless his soul right now. When this book came out, you'll see it when you believe it. Not I believe it when I see it, because that's how most people say it. I believe it when I see it. No, when you see it, you'll believe it. Guys, that's life. This is it right here. Dr. Wayne Dyer. This book is so old right here, and I got this book for $1.50 a long time ago. The pages are yellow. But I'm just saying, guys, and then your first year in network marketing, new area network, wave 3. I got that book by Richard Poe also. But I'm just saying, guys, I'm just sitting in my office with some stuff that's still sitting on my desk here. But I got a whole library of books. And I'm just excited about this movement and the way Extreme is. But for us, ladies and gentlemen, I know, Ms. Tanner, we got a couple more things we got to do before we close this out. But I say for us on this piece, we just got to do more of what we've been doing. We just got to show up more. We got to be involved more. You got to just be a little bit more consistent. in what you're doing. And when you be consistent, guys, I promise you, you outwork. And if you're a real estate agent out there, a real estate broker, whatever you're doing out there in life, period, just be more consistent than the next person that's doing the same thing that you're doing. You will always win. And y'all heard me say this, and I'm gonna close with this, Mr. Thomas. I'm Miss Tanner. You got to develop that ant mentality. During the summertime, there's nothing, no more insect or that's more consistent than the ant during the summertime. If you don't believe me, drop something sweet on your concrete outside and watch how soon the ants get there, and you see a trail of them. They got like an assembly what you call it, an assembly line going on in there. I mean, one going out this way, getting some and going back, just keep going. And one day I put my finger try to break the line. Them jokers did not even break stride. They went right around my finger, and the line just kept going right around my finger. One following the leader, grabbing, going back, grabbing, going back, grabbing, going back. And the only way you can stop that, which would be a tragedy, if you kill the ants, and you don't want to do that. Not if they're outside and not bothering you, right? And not these ants, but the fire ants a little something different. You don't want that in your yard. But that ant, that hungry ant, man, you got to develop that ant mentality, ladies and gentlemen. And you just got to stay consistent. So that's my piece, Mr. Thomas. So Miss Tana Gonzalez, so go ahead. I know we got a couple more things that we want to talk about. How many people? We got 44 people. I think I saw it at one point, Miss Tanny, at 46.
Yes,
we got
sir.
44 people on here. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your busy schedule to hop on this line and spend, this Wednesday with us. So thank you.
So I would like to share before we move on to more exciting things. So Gino, those questions that you designed for this interview were so important, and really to us not only learn from a leader and someone with so much experience, but also for giving us the opportunity to do some self-reflection, with the questions and the answers. So thank you for designing those questions in the manner that you did. Mr. Mickle, thank you for your transparency and your honesty. Since I've been working with you, you've always been very even keel, even keel. You're always very composed with your tonality, with how you answer questions, and I appreciate that from you. So thank you for your transparency, for being honest about your journey, and just keeping it real with us, right? Because this is an individual journey that we all take. But with your responses came truth and reality. So if we are struggling, right? There is a period of struggle because everything can't be easy. And that's what I got from you. So thank you so much for your responses. Now, I'm going to turn it over, if it's okay with you, Mr. Mickle. I'm going to go ahead and put up the slides, because we have some good announcements and some great announcements to take place. And I'm going to go ahead and share my screen.
Please do. And I don't know what's on there, but I'm going to read off of it.
There you go. There you go, Mr. Mickle.
All right.
Legendary.
Yes. I don't see anything, Mr.
You don't see it?
No.
Did I not
I just
share?
see
Give
that
me 1
screen.
second.
No, you haven't shared anything.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't see it on my end. Maybe somebody else can see it, but now I can see it. Wait a minute.
Uh-oh. Can you see incentive for
Yes.
our international convention?
Yes. Okay, let me see. Can I? Y'all don't mind if I put my
So
readers
you
on?
must be registered to qualify while Mr. Mickle gets his glasses?
Yes, you definitely. Okay, for this incentive, ladies and gentlemen, yes, Tanny, you and I did talk about this briefly. You got to be registered for the convention, ladies, because guys, we got to get these numbers up. Bottom line, y'all know I'm very transparent. We got to get the numbers up. I know it's after Christmas, so we can definitely start getting these numbers up, right? So here's what the deal is, right? We're gonna pull this. Let me see, what is it? The incentive prize will be given weekly. from now until the 18th, right? And you must be registered qualified for the convention. That's the first thing, right? But here's the thing. Ladies and gentlemen, we want to make it fun. We want to get as many people as we possibly can. Now, Tanny, there's another slide to this, or do I just need to talk about
No, you need to talk about this.
it? Okay. Now, what we're going to do, are we doing it? We starting today, right? On this call, right?
That's correct. We're starting on this call, so we're gonna have a lucky winner on this
Okay.
call.
Okay. And lucky winner on this call. And this winner, even if you registered already for the convention and you already gotten a, what is it? The
PJs.
PJs and Pips. That's it. PJs and Pip. You already got a ticket for that. Don't worry about it. We'll reimburse you, right? But what we're gonna do, our first winner, we're gonna pick somebody. I'm gonna let Miss Tanny or Mr. Thomas or whoever out there. I don't know how we're gonna pick them, but if you registered for the event, you can go ahead on and put I'm registered now, so you can go ahead and be put in the pot real quick. So go ahead and put I'm registered, ladies and gentlemen. That'll take a little time while I'm talking. So go ahead on and put in the chat. I'm registered. I'm registered. I'm registered. I'm registered. I'm registered. I'm registered. So we can see that stuff coming through, and Miss Tanny gonna be looking at the chat. So please, if you're on here, you definitely need to put that in the chat.
Chat is disabled.
I'm registered, but my
Chat.
chat is
Yeah,
disabled, so I
chat is
can't get.
disabled.
Okay, here
Yes.
it goes. I think it's now okay. Make it
Go
where
ahead.
people go ahead and put it in now. I think Leo, I think she was a host though, so she definitely could write. I don't see nobody else, Miss Tanny.
They're coming.
Oh, here they come. Okay. All right. So what we're going to do, the first giveaway is that we're going to give away PJs and Pip. We're going to give away a PJs and Pip for the person that already registered. That's the first one now. So, Miss Tanny, I don't know how you picking
Mr.
that first.
Mickle, I was
Yes.
thinking, since this is the first time that we're doing this, I said this morning, the first person that shows up to training on time will get the first ticket.
Okay, and you
So
knew who
that
that person.
person was Miss Denise Johnson.
Okay, Miss Denise Johnson. You got a free entry, and if you already bought it, you can definitely text me and let me know. If not, we got you covered for the PJs and Pip on Thursday night. You got a free entry. Congratulations. Let's put some fire in the chat for Miss Denise
yes.
Johnson.
So the
Congratulations.
second one, Mr. Mickle, do you want to go ahead and randomly?
Huh? You
Go
I
ahead
can't
and
hear you.
choose?
Okay. And I don't know who. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. Hold on, let me go over here. I'm gonna tell you what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna tell you, you know, I like consistency.
Yes.
Consistently for this next prize. Now this is for the Friday event, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, there's going to be a special event that we haven't talked about yet. That's going on Friday night at 7:30. That Miss Gina Rivers and the committee is putting together. Miss Jen, don't you open your mouth because I know you're on this daggone call. I know unless you're gone already. I know I saw you writing. I see you out there. And you're on the committee, so you already know what this is. But there's going to be a ticket going to be involved. But we're going to give you, this person, a free entry to that. And I'm going to pick, for this week, I'm going to pick, I'm scrolling down my list here, because I'm looking for consistency throughout always on this call. Today, this person is going to be Miss Rebecca Middleton. I'm going to give Miss Rebecca Middleton the the next ticket that's out there.
Woo-hoo.
So Miss Middleton is
Thank you.
congratulations. Miss Rebecca Middleton, let's give him now. There's gonna be more winners. Monday, we're gonna do it again. And then but get your team to show up, guys. And matter of fact, wait a minute. Oh, I'm sorry, we got one more. We got one more, right? Here's what I'm gonna do, and I hope Ms. Reagan Lynch, I haven't even ran this past the founders yet, right? Not completely. But I'm gonna do it anyway. Am I still on camera? Can y'all still see me or not?
Yes, sir, we can see you.
Okay. But I'm trying to, I want y'all to see my guilty face, right? But it's this. I'm going to, for the person, and we will have to keep up with this, and you got to keep up with this. But anybody from today, the 28th to now, for the person who get 3 people from their team, you know what? I'm gonna say 2 people. I'm gonna change it.
Jacob, you're too nice, Jacob.
You think so? I'm gonna change it to 2.
Okay.
Every person who's registered already, because this is all about registration, guys. But when you get 2 people, starting from today, if you already got 1 to 2 people, that's fine. They're already here. They can participate. To register from your team, 2. I'm gonna have Miss Lynch to put a $50 credit toward after the convention, so that'll have to be in February, right? Because we got to run the contest. For your February membership, to put a $50 credit back in your back office. You can take it out or you cash it, whatever you want to do. However, it's gonna be $50 for every person that's on here that get 2 new people to register for the convention. That's like $25 a person to you. Think about that. That's like $25 a person. So if you go out to the
Is
bank
that
and get,
2 new people? Do they have to be brand new, or could they
no,
be?
that's on your team. That's on your
Oh,
team
on
already.
your team.
No,
Okay.
not brand new. But if you sign them up and they get registered for the convention, then that counts. But if
Okay.
they already in your business, then that counts. Okay?
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. This is people that's in the business already or new people that's coming in. It doesn't matter. Just get them registered for the event, and we're going to give you a $50 credit to the back office. But you got to be at least 2 to qualify. You get 1, might not qualify. You get 2, you will qualify. But it got to be 2. I'm just going to. I was going to tell him I was going to do 3, but I think we can get 2. That's $25 a piece for each one of those, and we'll give you a $50 credit in your back office. And I'm pretty sure I can get Ms. Reagan Lynch and Mr. Sloan to agree with me on that. Because guys, the goal is to get these ticket sales up because I wanted 300 people at this event. I really do. And we willing to try to do what we can to get 300 people at this event. All right. So I hope those incentives, but we're going to be picking starting Monday again. So now you got the weekend, and Mr. Ernest, you got the weekend, and everybody to start getting these people registered for the event. And then when you come on and say, now, you know, we can look at the dates. So anything after today and the 28th, when they register, you can say, hey, Mr. Mickle, I'm gonna say, how many people got at least 2 people registered for the event since the 28th? That's what I'm gonna say on Monday. And you're gonna put your information out there. And we're gonna credit you in the back office, the $50 in February, right? Because you might get 2 more people. Guess what? We might credit another 2. I'll talk about that. But if you get at least 2 people, ladies and gentlemen, to register for the event, we're going to credit $50 back towards your membership. All right. So, guys, we're just trying to do whatever we need to do to have some fun. And we're going to pick 2 people every single, all the way until the 18th. 2 people a week to be incentivized. Membership has its privileges, right? So, with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, first of all, I want to thank you guys for.
Hey, Mr. Mickle.
Yes.
Since you put it out there, it can if you get it, you know, you're two people this week, can we at least maybe do up to $100? Win? Can we win twice?
Mr. Thomas, I can't put that out there right now.
No, you
I don't
can't.
think it's about winning twice, but you want as many
No,
people.
like this week, and if you do it next week, can we participate again even though we won?
As a week to
Oh.
week, you can.
As week to week.
Yeah, week to week you can. Yeah. You can do that. You can
Okay,
do that. So
thank
you can mess around and get your membership paid in the next 3 weeks, right? So
Absolutely.
but you just going, yeah, that's a good point. That's a good question. Because I didn't think about it that way. But yeah, that's a good question. Good stuff. But first of all, okay, thank you, Mr. Thomas. Anybody else got anything else? Because I'm getting ready to close this out.
Yeah, I got a question. So you saying once you get 2 per week, you're qualified for that week. So if you get 4, it doesn't equate to 100. Or if you get 6, it doesn't equate to 150. It's only 250 you done for the week. Next week 250 you done for the week. 250 you done for the week. Is that correct?
That's
That's
correct.
correct.
Okay,
That's
good
correct.
to go.
Yeah, that is exactly right. But if you can get 4 people in a week, great. Because remember, you still want more people, to register for the event. If you get 8,
Absolutely.
go and get them. Just get them registered. And next week, you worry about next week. Because I'm pretty sure if you can get 5 or 6 people to register from your team this week, next week you should have no problem doing it too. Now remember, they can participate too, right? Not just you, but they can participate because, on their teams also. The goal is to get as many people registered for this event. All right. So, man, I appreciate you guys more than you know. Man, this was great for me, man. You said, what if they have 3? You still get the $50, Miss Lynn Chandler. You get the $50 even if they got you, if you do 3. But it starts today. Not if you anything you did prior to, whoever's registered already, great. Now you got to get some more people to register from your team who hasn't registered yet. It's all about the new people from here who hasn't registered yet. Keep that in mind. You can't go and say, I already got 5 people. Great. We appreciate you. You and your team can register, but this is for the teammate that you haven't got registered yet. Okay? All right. First of all, once again, I want to thank you guys, man. This time went, pretty over today. I don't even know what time it is, but I'm not looking at a clock, but whatever it was worth it because I enjoyed sharing some of my story, which I really don't get into, but just a skip of it. Guys, it go way deeper than that. But I try to make sure that we answer these questions in a timely manner. One of these days, I'm going to probably go through the whole 26 years of struggle to as a network marketer to be able and be able to show you guys 1099s, with 7 figures on it. Okay. And being able to show you guys how blessed I have been in this industry. This industry can work for anybody who work it. And it's never the industry of network marketing. Network marketing is hard. Life is hard. You go to a job, getting up every day is hard too. It doesn't matter what you do. You just got to stay consistent. You got to be hungry. You got to want it. You got to want change in your life. And you got to treat people right along the way. Because money has a way of really bringing out who people really are. Because I never would tell you money changes people, because money is still money. Money has nothing to do. All money do is expose a person of who they really are. That's all it does. And I had a little taste of that early on in my career. And I didn't like that person. I didn't. So I humbled myself real early in this game of network marketing because edification is something that's very strong. And if anybody been in this industry for a while and you've been edified, right? Sometimes, even though it's true, you can start believing the hype, and that becomes your reality. That becomes who you are, and that's can be a bad thing sometimes. Okay, but edification is good, and that's why I only edify the person that needs to be edified the right way. But I do not edify bad behavior. I tell my kids, I don't promote, I don't reward bad behavior. I don't. Why? Because I've been there, done that, and I've been, I had to get a checkup from the neck up. So I'm saying to you guys, man, stay humble, stay hungry, and always, man, treat your team right. There's nothing wrong with being stern and firm, but always treat your team the right way. That's when those people will follow you to the end of the moon. Because everybody's not here. I'm gonna be honest with you. Everybody's not here for the money. Some people are here just for the culture. Some people just like being around this type of energy because they're not getting it elsewhere. They can come here and get the love that they deserve. And I had to learn that. I had to learn that, ladies and gentlemen. And that's why, man, I have so many people that stuck and stayed, like Mr. Thomas, Miss Rivers, Miss Anderson, Miss Lisa Moore, those type people that's out there, Miss Barbara Giles, those type people that's out there that stuck around with me, and so many more that's out there that's not on this call that stuck with me for years. But if I was a bad person, or whatever person, I don't know what the word might be, these guys won't have nothing to do with me. My partners, like Mr. Sloan and Miss Lynch, won't have nothing to do with me. But I have humbled myself so to the point where I just love people. And I think that's the way, this common unity. And thank Mr. Rico Johnson for creating this name, because it definitely fit who we are. 2023 is going to be a great year, ladies and gentlemen. And our theme for 2023, I'm going to tell you what it's going to be right now. Priority and consistent. Priority and consistent. So let's get ready to win, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, on behalf of my co-founders, our corporate team, thank you guys. Love you guys out there. There's nothing you guys can do about it. Y'all enjoy your day. Let's be productive. Let's have some fun. Stay humble and stay hungry. With that being said, I'll talk to you guys, man. Let's get registered. Let's get registered. Let's get registered. If you haven't registered, ladies and gentlemen, it's after Christmas. You're going to be paying for that. Some of you are going to be paying for that for the rest of the year anyway. You might as well go ahead and put this on your credit card too. So let's have some fun. Let's win. Miss Tanny Gonzalez, if you can open up, man, so I can hear my family out there. Man, I love you guys, man. So, well done.
Well done,
Great
great
job.
job.
Awesome
Love
job.
you
Thank you,
all.
Mr. Mickle.
Houston, Texas.
Thank you.
Don't